One. Ladies and gentlemen, we have not done this for a while. Adi having the most amazing microphone out of all of us. Welcome, Adi. You should kick it off, I think, with that great microphone. We've got to test that the settings are worth the money you spent on it.
I was gonna enter idols, but I can't sing, so I decided to rather put the microphone to good use. I can try sing a song. I can try sing a song.
He's got
it's all right. We won't do
auto-tune. You should have just put auto-tune.
Pay my invoice by the end of the month, or I'm sending you a lawyer's letter. How's that?
With love. Forgot to do the with love. Raz, what's happening your side? Tell us.
Not much. I'm just.
You're still playing with. You're still trying to figure out your settings, and now we've gone live with this camera settings. All right, let's kick it off then. Adi, how was the week? What's happened since the last chat? Give us some good news. What's going on in the world?
Well,
and in your world.
Well, there's nothing quite like a long weekend to let you feel like you're enjoying life. Okay. Yeah. And I just loved it. Slept in a little bit, and we even went out on Saturday night, which is something we don't do that often. We had a great time. We just enjoyed Cape Town this weekend. Thank you.
Oh, you went out after dark. That is a very rare thing to hear Adi ever say that he's done.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. My wife forced me. And normally, the secret to a good marriage is to let your wife go out with her friends. Now, normally I get to wangle it that I don't have to go with 9 times out of 10. But on this particular occasion, it was her birthday the other day, and I just, when she said it's my birthday, I figured I should probably join. So I went this time.
Beautiful, gents. All right. I've got some very lovely questions. Usually we let Adi run with these questions. All right. Let me fire off my first good one, just to hear everybody's opinion on this one. What was the one thing that as you got older that you thought mattered, you gathered does not matter as much as you thought while you were growing up?
Popularity. There's my answer.
There's Reza's answer. He's always been popular regardless of what he tries to do. He's going to be popular. Adi, I saw you close your eyes there. Come. That's going to... Now we got a deep one coming with the eyes closing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a firm... But I mean, I was a firm believer that the gym lifestyle, being jacked, being ripped, was the only option for the discerning dad, for the discerning businessman. And, it kind of like goes back to the root of the mantra, beat the bullies, in everything that we do. You want to be that guy that basically is the gym lifestyle. Now, business was a bit slow at the beginning of the year. It's picked up. I'm feeling really good. But what I learned in that experience is that actually being shredded is actually not that important. What's more important is your family's health, is being able to provide for the family. There's no point in being shredded and then looking at someone else who's not shredded, but meanwhile they sleep very, very well because they're not stressed. So just going through this kind of like, I'm debating internally with myself whether being shredded is the only way or whether actually having the dad bod is fine. Now, as I say, I'm still debating because the last couple of weeks I've been training, but I did spend the last 7 months not training, but now I'm sort of back on the I'd like to be shredded again. So I think my answer is that there's more important things than being in the best shape of my life, besides for health or whatever. It's just, so as I say, like, I don't have the perfect answer to that, but it's something I'm wrestling with, that I always
I think
thought
it's
was
just
an
being
absolute, that I think I was wrong about it.
healthy though, ID. Not maybe not so shredded. Shredded might be quite a. I mean, unless you've decided to become a bodybuilder and join a bodybuilding competition. I mean, what would be the point of being shredded? Maybe having a nice athletic physique, and just being healthy.
Well, that's the whole point. Well, I mean, what you're saying is bullseye. That is 100% correct. Now,
Yeah.
whether I can personally accept that is something I'm wrestling with. You are right.
Yeah.
I just obviously have problems in absorbing stuff like what you've just said.
Of course.
Yeah, but also
Well,
fundamentally, that whole ideology of being shredded and taking your shirt off on the beach and picking up chicks and looking cool for other guys is it's really not there after the age of, I think, even 40. But the foundation of wanting to be healthy and whatever the result of being healthy, because certain people are extremely healthy, they're not shredded. If you look at all the world's strongest men, they're not shredded, and those guys are powerhouses. They're bulldozers walking around. And the essence of it is that they're fundamentally healthy to their core of what their body is functioning at the capacity of health for them, regardless of the high school factuation with having the 8-pack, as that's what you perceive as healthy. Because also, guys, the 8-pack is not really health. It's a sign of that your body is starving, and it doesn't really mean that you're in prime health condition. And there's also a thing known as Zulu Rich in South Africa, that if you're wealthy, you're actually fatter than if you're ripped. But I guess the core foundation is to remain healthy, regardless of what the shredding looks like in the situation, And as you get older, you start realizing how much more important it is to health, the health aspect more than the other aspects. So you start juggling health, wealth, and love, which is now with health, you got to stay healthy so you're here for a long time. Wealth, you're trying to make sure that everybody around you that needs to eat and eat well, because we're all high aimers. And then comes this love aspect where you're trying to pour your love into the people that you love around you and do your best to show them love and just generally be in a good, loving relationship with your family and your kids and your partner and all of that. And as you get older, you do your best to juggle the three. As you get younger, I've started noticing that a lot of people focus more on, certain aspects. But yeah, I get where you're coming at. The looking shredded no longer matters after a certain age, but as long as you're healthy. Rose, tell us what you were saying about popularity. Oh, sorry, Gadi, go.
No, what I was also just wanted to just mention before we go off topic onto a different topic is that having the time to be in the gym is a luxury. It's like hiring a sushi chef and all you do is you just eat sushi. It's an absolute luxury. And I did spend the last 8 months putting, that extra hour I put into work. And that's now cooking again. And so the last say 2-3 weeks, I actually feel like that luxury is back in my life. So that, the thing is, it's like a priority thing. I put that extra effort in that I could have been in the gym for an hour, but I put it into work, and that's cooking. So now that it's cooking, I think that the question that you have asked, it also depends on where are you today. Because I think that I'm not embarrassed to say that my answer can change. I'm humble enough to say that I don't know shit, And let me rather answer with how I feel today, because
Yeah.
it can change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's life. Life
that was
changes.
based on
That's normal.
that was based on your emotion of the question at this current time and how you're feeling. You see, I've also noticed, and this is the funniest thing, to complicate life, on top of the fact that every single person is living in this world within their perspective and their narrative and how they see the world, and you're constantly dealing with human emotions, whether it's in business, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in friendships, whatever it fundamentally is, everybody is always living in this perspective of their own understanding of the world. And even when people say, hey, the sun doesn't shine out of your ass, that's actually bullshit. It does. Because your sun and your world does shine out of your ass. And every single person is going through life being the center of the universe because they're the center of their own universe. Not that we're all on this universe and on this one planet and we all just essentially mingling within it. Because if you look at the meta universe, and if you look at the quantum realms of understanding, and this is a beautiful thing that's actually been accepted across all religions, is that there is a quantum physics to all of this. So if you look at quantum physics fundamentally, to the core of what it says is that every single person is a universe. Now, within that universe, every single person is going through life bumping into different universes, and our universes are constantly colliding. And fundamentally, what happens is that every single person has got a different state of feelings continuously and how they feel on a daily basis. So when I throw a question at Adi today, that's based on his perspective and his feelings coming together to generate that answer within the split moment. But tomorrow that could change. Next week, that could change. Following week, that could essentially change. So it's based on the basis of your current state of mind. That's how Adi feels. And Raz, you got this popularity thing. Tell us more. Come, I want to hear this popularity before I jump
All
over
right.
to what I think doesn't matter as much as I thought it would.
Well, popularity doesn't matter. It's really, when I was growing up, I thought the more popular you are, the better it is. But now that as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that it means nothing really, because your circle just gets smaller and smaller, and you want to surround yourself by people that care about you. Really, you don't really
Adi,
care
you
what a
giggling?
stranger
Tell us.
thinks about you.
Now I'm giggling because of the microphone, not because of what he's saying. But please carry on.
Yeah. What about the microphone? What's wrong with the microphone?
It
Which
could be my
microphone? Your
speakers.
microphone. Uh
Yeah,
huh.
you're speaking very fast. I'm also, are you getting him in?
No, it's like crackling. I'm not sure, but let me
Is
move
it?
past that and just try to absorb what he's saying rather.
Yeah. Is
I
it?
get what he's saying. He's saying as he was getting older, he was focused. I'm his brother. I know where he's at. He always wanted to be Mr. Congeniality in school. As he got older, he started understanding that's not going to affect his world, and that's really not going to change what the popular status of that he is as he got older, because that's not what grew him in business. That's not what grew him in relationships. That's not what really grew him in his love relationships. Yes, there are certain hooks to being known and popular and having a certain presence in every room that you walk into. And people say, oh, there's a guy we know. And within that certain validation, a lot of people will be like, hey, he is a somebody. And yes, it might get you girls to be in relationships with you. But that popularity, fundamental, trying to be the cool guy internally within the relationship doesn't have any bearings on what's really happening in the relationship and the universe. So I do get where
It
Reza is
actually
coming
gets you.
from.
It gets you the wrong girls. That's the
Actually, it
problem.
gets you the
It
wrong
gets you
girls.
the
It
wrong
gets you the
girls.
wrong
Yeah.
people. It gets you the wrong business people that aren't really there for business, and they about let me jump in and be cool along with this guy and look cool. And yeah, I get that aspect of popularity, and mine's a little bit in line with that. So guys, you know me, I like to go into these deep philosophical things because I'm the guy that's lived in different countries all around the world, been in numerous different situations in life, and I always try to philosophically understand these things. Is growing up, I was so infatuated with being liked. I wanted people to like me. I wanted people that didn't even wish good on me to like me. And as you get older, you start realizing how little that matters because it is all subjective. And as you're younger, you're obsessed over the whole idea of it. And you wanted everybody to think highly of you and you wanted them to say good things about you. And you also realize is that on the basis of it being subjective in that they do like you and they don't like you, both are subjective because both can change at any given time and it's all based on a personal narrative of what that person thinks about you. It's also temporary. You can have people that were telling the world that you're the most amazing human being to have ever loved, and then all of a sudden they don't like you on a certain thing, and now they aren't saying you're the most amazing human being that's lived. And also vice versa. You can get people that weren't so nice to you growing up, and certain people now you see they actually come and shake your hand, and they tell you, hey, we're proud of, I've seen what you're doing, proud of you, carry on, amazing. And that tells you how subjective people's fundamental feelings and thoughts are attached to the ideology of being liked. And as great as it is that you want to have a great reputation and you want to have a great name, it really doesn't matter if people like you or don't like you. If people want to work with you based on what your product and what your ideology is in business, people are going to work with you. It's got nothing to do with them liking you or disliking you. They might even hate you, but they will still work with you because the business relationship works perfectly regardless of the personal emotions, and people put it aside. And it's the same in relationships. It's also the same in friendships. The whole ideology of being liked is so subjective and so temporary that it is probably one of the least important things to live your life wanting to achieve. And for me, that's my one. I never used to think. I used to really obsess over it. I wanted to be liked. If I heard someone spoke bad of me, I wanted to figure out why. Why does it matter?
Yeah. So AJ, that basically comes from the insecurity of an individual. So listen, kids, when you're feeling insecure, you want to create scenarios where you are liked because your worth comes from the outside and it's not coming from the inside. So you're trying to impress people to want to be liked. But as you get older and you obviously work through those insecurities and you learn more about yourself and your life, then obviously you realize that being liked by other people is actually irrelevant because that self-love is actually what is important. It's supposed to come from within you. um, and if you can work on yourself and you can improve yourself, then you will like yourself anyways. It reminds me of something that I remember in one of the courses that I did. The guy used to always ask, can you spend 20 minutes by yourself? And if you like the person that you are when you're by yourself, are you happy with that version of you? Or do you not like yourself? Because if you don't like yourself when you're by yourself, how do you expect other people to like you? So it's those insecurities that obviously needs to be addressed, and then you need to overcome them and learn and heal from those insecurities.
You need to deal with your demons. You have got to deal with your demons. You know, I said something the other day, and as I said it, it actually hit me. You know, once in a while, I'll say something great, Adi. You know, once in a while, my three brain cells will come together
More
and come
than
up with
once.
something. More than once. Even a blind squirrel will catch a nut once in a while. And the other day, I was actually talking to Candace, and we were saying something about our kids. And I said to her, if you don't deal with your demons in this lifetime, your children have to. If you do not fight your demons, your children will have to fight your demons. They may not have to fight them as hard as you, but you have got to overcome those burdens of the things that you're dealing with. And it's funny, and you know, we know Raz doesn't have a kid. That one might not resonate with him on a level that it resonates with Adi and I, is that
It definitely
if you
resonates with
do
Adi,
if you
which is
do not
got a
fight,
football team.
if you do not Yeah, he's got 5 kids. He's a
Father
Trump
side.
supporter, and
Father
he's got
side.
5 kids. Yeah, he's got 5 kids, a caravan, and he's a Trump supporter. He's pretty much
Not only that, but
The
all the
Mississippi of South
parents,
Africa.
all the parents drop their kids off here as well. They're like, they know if they come here, then they can sort of, it's like, I often hear it. He was driving me
Daddy daycare.
crazy. I'm dropping him off at your house, and then the parents
Daddy
sort of
daycare.
offload them here. They sort of like blend into the jungle. There's noise and chaos, and then the parents fetch them later, and they all had a great time. And I like what Reza was saying. I think it has to, if you're looking to, I always say, what is the lesson? How can I raise my children to beat that? And if we look at why do kids want to be liked and why do some kids not, and as you say, it has to do with your own internal confidence. And I'll add to that by saying it also, if the child has direction in what they are doing, then they are doing that. Like, my side, the kids are going to be, they're riding motorbikes, they can learn to kite, they do karate, they have direction. They are not waiting for other children to tell them what to do. Okay? They have direction. And I think that's where the confidence comes from, is if you give your kids something that they can do, that they are engrossed in, they have some direction. Now, I didn't really have too much direction when I was younger. And unfortunately, you're constantly you're trying to latch onto somebody else's direction. Oh, do we like walkie-talkies these days? Great. I like walkie-talkies. Oh, have you heard of Nirvana? I have now. I like them as well. It's because if you don't have direction, you want other people to like you so that you can find some direction. Because if they don't like you, nobody wants to hang out with you, you don't have your own direction, it's a problem. And so I think if you can give kids something that they can sort of grow with, that gives them a bit of direction, that is outside of school, that's very, very useful, because they couldn't give a damn if people don't like them. They'll find people to like them in that other thing that they're doing.
It's a
And
sense
so
of
that's
belonging. Yeah, it's
a
the
sense
human
of
sense of
belonging.
belonging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Without waiting
And
for
then
someone else's
also,
approval. Now, I also have a topic we can chat on once you guys are ready.
Go.
I'm ready.
Ruz is always ready with his crackling microphone and his sparkling personality. He's always ready.
I was born ready, my butt.
So,
My butt.
the topic is icons, i.e., what or who are we impressed by? Okay. Now, if one is raising daughters, or if one is raising sons, whatever it is, or even just for ourselves to be better people, you want to teach them to look up to the correct people. If you look at influencers these days, you do not want your children to be impressed by influencers, because while they are entertaining, like we did mention before, if an influencer is in front of you and they, say to you, yo, look at me, I make these videos and I'm popular, and this is how you can make a life for yourself in the business world. Now, if you believe that, I believe that is misguided, because chances, you're being impressed by the wrong stuff. Now, as I said, it's entertaining. I'm not saying it's not entertaining. I'm saying, is this what you want to emulate your life after? Now, if we're sitting at a dinner table and someone says, and there's two people sitting there and they're both telling their story, okay, let's take it for granted both of their wives are equally beautiful. So you don't want to take preference over the oak who's got a belter of a wife. Okay. So the one guy says to you, okay, look, he built this thing in 6 months and it took off like wildfire and it's easy for him. A year down the line, he's already bought a house, and like, this is his story. And like, some people will drool over that. They're like, I've got to recreate that. I'm impressed. This guy is my icon. This is what I want to aspire towards. I need to learn what he's doing without buying a course. I want to learn what he's doing. I want to be like him. I want to tell that story. Now, on the other side, there's another guy, and he says, well, for the last 5 years, 3 times a week, he goes around the neighborhood and he knocks on every single door, and he goes neighborhood to neighborhood. He'll drop his car off, park his car, and he goes and he knocks on the doors, and he tells everybody about his woodwork business, or he does gates and welding. And slowly but surely, over the space of 6 or 7 years, he's picked up a client here and a client there and a client there. And now he's got endless work. He's got people that work in the factory, but he's knocking on the doors and he's picking up the clients one at a time. And that, now, for some people, they'd be like, old school, grandpa, boring. I don't want to build one door at a time, one client at a time. That's not impressive. But for me, that's the most impressive thing you can hear. A guy that understands that you build it one step at a time. It takes effort. You're not ashamed to knock on the doors. For me, if I was going to teach my son, a lesson on that day, on the drive home from that dinner, I'd say, see my boy, you see that guy over there? What a phenomenal individual. Determined, understands that you got to put the hard work in, built a life for himself. My boy, one day you just do that and you'll build a life for yourself. That's the kind of guy we should be looking up to. Not the guy who easy, hey, everything's easy. So that's the topic, is really like, what are we impressed by?
So, Adi, you don't think that these YouTubers that become billionaires or millionaires, you don't think they work hard enough?
No. I believe that they are impressive in what they do, but I do not believe that doesn't, like, that lifestyle doesn't impress me, because it can change like the wind. Look at the people that made the Vine videos. Vine was this huge thing. Look how much effort those people put into it. And yes, they do put the effort in, but I'm not in. Maybe you're right. It's not that I'm not impressed with the effort. I am impressed with the effort. I'm not impressed with the lifestyle. I'm not impressed with can this person be a family man? Can he provide for his family? Should we be impressed by that? Maybe that's the angle. That's really what I'm trying to say. I'm not impressed with the industry.
Okay, so basically, because their values, well, you believe that their values doesn't align with your values, so therefore,
It's not the
Not
values, Raz.
impressed by it.
No, you see, so what I'm hearing as the third person in this convo, and recently I've actually decided to speak less amongst you two, is what Adi is trying to say is he's not impressed with the gimmick of what these guys are up to. Yes, they might be valued people. They might be principled people. At the end of the day, it might be all about their family, and they are trying to create great things for their family, because these YouTubers make great money. Joe Rogan made something like $85 million this year. He's the highest podcaster of like all time. Phenomenal. And that's an amazing life. If you can't live on $85 million, then you've got some serious problems, because that's generational wealth to make sure even his grandkids don't have to shovel shit. What Adi is essentially getting at is, and it's not the individual person. So this has become the thing, is that Adi is saying he's not impressed with the gimmick of these people, but the world has become a speculative gimmick supporter. So these guys might be completely different in their core value system, but they put on a mask of the lifestyle and what they've got to portray in order to get the attention of the people that they need to get to, because those people are not interested in a well-spoken guy in a nice collared shirt has Shabbos every Friday, does the brocha, wishes everybody amazingness
So
and all of
you,
that,
so
because
you,
that's great and it's phenomenal for sure. And if you want to be a man of morals and principles, there's mosques, there's temples, there is churches, yes, but that's not getting the support of the masses. And it's the gimmick that's getting the support of the masses. And these people put on this mask to get the attention of the masses. And that's
that's
what
entertainment.
essentially, that's what bothers Adi, because he finds those people that are doing the gimmick going against a moral code of actually standing up and doing things that are not gimmicky, and they long-term investments and long-term builds and things
No,
that are
but
great for the
but that's
future.
entertain, but that's entertainment. So, when you're talking about entertainment, and we have discussed this many times before when we said, are you not entertained? That's what people want. They want entertainment. So
Yeah, it's a gimmick.
the gimmick is part of entertaining someone. Now, let's take, for example, WWE wrestlers. Are you saying that WWE wrestlers do not have the same value as Adi? Are they not family people? Do they not want to raise their kids right? Do they not work hard? Do they not put their body on the line? They do. And yes, their lifestyle is not aligning with Adi's lifestyle, but it doesn't take away from the fact that they put in a lot of effort and they
No,
do work hard.
No,
Adi is
no.
not wild about
Also,
Adi is not
the
wild about the
main point.
lifestyle.
No, also the main point of contention is the chances of success. So, if you look at, so I learned my lesson as a DJ, put my life into it in my 20s. It didn't work out. It is what it is. What are the chances of 50,000 people trying to be a DJ? Only one guy becomes the sort of the superstar DJ. If you look at
That's
the
what I was about to
influencers,
say.
so the problem is the chances of success. Is there's a lot of people, like in a startup, if they do it incorrectly, it fails. And so if we are impressed by the outlier, it is impressive when the outlier succeeds. But the main thing is really, if you're going to have an icon to be a family successful business person that can provide for his family, I'm looking at what is going to give my child the best possible, from a statistics perspective, chance of success. And
I was
it's
about to say
not
that.
chasing. That's the key really here, is that we only see the ones that are successful, not the hundreds of thousands that are doing the videos but are not successful. They put just as much effort in. So that's really the key, is I'm not
What
belittling the lifestyle. It's the chance of success that we should be chasing.
no,
But Adi,
no,
what about
what you saying,
passion? What about
and I got
passion,
what he's
Adi?
saying. No, hold on,
What
Rose,
about
hear me out.
passion?
I get what Adi is saying. No, 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 leave passion, leave the passion aspect. I actually got what Adi is fundamentally saying. What Adi is fundamentally saying is there are 8 billion people in this world, right? A billion of them are on social media, let's say, trying to make all of the noise and try to become a big deal and become the next Mr. Beast or whoever, one of these Joe Rogans or somebody big. And 99% of them fundamentally fail. And that 1% is the only 1% that we know. And we say that's the Joe Rogans and the Mr. Beasts and all of them. And there are plenty of them running around the world. And what Adi is fundamentally saying is, behind choosing that lifestyle over choosing the lifestyle of going and building a First National Bank or building a Discovery, you have got more chances of, in essence, becoming successful, what he's trying to say, on an icon basis for his children as a role model. Because remember, Adi is not going after anything of those people's lifestyle. He's trying to say who are the icons that he would support his children supporting, is that he's saying 10 out of 10 guys that build a bank will become successful in their life, and they will not be viewed as just another guy who did a gimmick to get to where he got to. He built a core fundamental successful business. He succeeded in life. He wasn't a gimmick.
Even just the
But
tradesman. The tradesman. My daughter
even
can either bring
the
home an
tradesman.
influencer or a guy that's in electrical school. I would be
I got what
way
you
more
say.
impressed with the electrical school guy who's sitting there. He's not trying to look too flashy. He just says, I'm learning good skills, and I hope to be able to build on it. Like, wow, you've got my heart.
I get it. What Adi is saying is the 10 out of 10 of the guys that do put in the hard work and they don't jump onto the bandwagon of the gimmick and being the next mediocre, followed the trend guy. Those are the guys that he would sit with his children and say, I support you seeing those people as icons. Over the guys that, regardless of how much money they are making and how big they have become, and what is happening is that the fail rate within those guys is 99%, and you only see the 1% of the guys made it. But the tradesman that does start as an electrician, that then eventually becomes the manager of the electrician company, that then eventually becomes a director in the electrician company, then he gets upset that he's not on the board and he goes and opens his own electrical company and he does become successful. The success rate of those guys that put in the hard work, that build the core foundations, that build the basis of what it is needed to be successful, those are the guys that Adi supports his children being iconic. Now, another great thing behind those guys, and I know Adi's moral system because I've sat with the man many, many times. Adi is a firm believer that in business, you better have your foundation and you better have your core right, because it doesn't matter how Icarus the situation becomes, that you fly right up to the top and the wings do burn. And everybody, I'm sure, knows of Icarus. The wings do burn because the man did fly too high. Is that if he didn't build the basis of what he's going to fall, he never had the basis and it's going to tumble. And I was actually reading something about those Prime, that energy drink the guys made. That thing was one of the highest grossing speculative sales in drinks history. More people were drinking that than water when it came out. But it failed as a business because the guys that were pushing it were the gimmicky guys that Adi is talking of, that had the market and the people to push this thing to buy that first sale. And then the guys afterwards were like, we've done the gimmick, ticked it off, move on. And the business never had a core and it never had a basis of two guys that were going to build a proper business, the same as like a Coca-Cola company that built a proper business behind it. So what in essence that I'm getting from Adi is, it's not about the person, it's not about the gimmick, it's not about the age and the social media. And yes, we do get it, that the gimmick does sell, the half-naked woman does amazing, and the guy that comes and swears everybody and says, I'm a cowboy, let's invade every country in the Middle East. Those are the guys that get the love and the support and all of that. But what Adi is fundamentally trying to say is good for those guys. He finds people that go and do the hard work a lot more noble of people that he respects. And he would love one of those people to be icons to his children.
Yes. So
I got you, my brother Adi. I got your back. You see,
he likes the more of the traditional meaning of an idol.
He likes the hard workers. Look at him. He's got a virtual actuary business all around the world, and he didn't end up being a DJ. Look where DJing got this man.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Adi, now,
I'm a purist. I'm a sales purist. One client at a time, build from there.
Yeah, but now I've got another question for you. So let's say, because AJ keeps and this is what AJ keeps using. He keeps saying gimmick, gimmick, gimmick. So I've got a question. Let's say Brad Pitt. He's a gimmick. He's an actor. Everything about him is a gimmick. There's because he's pretending to be something else.
No, Rez, you've gone wrong. No, you've gone wrong. You've gone wrong.
Being an actor,
you've gone wrong.
That's not who you are.
But it's not a gimmick. A wrestler
It is a
is not a
gimmick
gimmick.
because every
An
movie
actor
is
is
a
not
gimmick.
is not a
Every
gimmick. A
movie is a
comedian
gimmick.
is not a gimmick. Those are performers. What Adi is talking about is the gimmicks of the Andrew Tate followers. That's who he's actually talking about. The guys that see how well Andrew Tate did going on camera and swearing woman, and they think that's the thing that's going to get them places, and they jump onto the bandwagon. It's the guys that all of a sudden their peptides have taken off. All of a sudden, everyone is selling peptides. It's the guys that as soon as they hear crypto is doing well, all of a sudden they're all pumping money into crypto. It's the essence of the gimmick of the trend that's happening, and the people that don't want to put in those core foundational business building skills that jump onto those things, and they make all the noise and everything because that's what makes them money. There's plenty in Cape Town. One of our viewers who decided today he's going to sit in the back and not jump in on the chats, and we'll debut him next week. He knows there are plenty people in Cape Town that are doing amazing because they made all of the noise as everybody else, but they never built core business values. They never built a core foundational business that, regardless of if tomorrow Instagram kicked them off of Instagram, they still could have a business in place. It's not the performers, it's not the comedians, it's not the entertainers, it's not. You see, a whole new word came to life within the last 6 years that never existed before. Influencers. People that influence others. And their whole big thing is they get this big head of being the next Messiah and the next coming because Instagram allows them to believe that 1 million people are following them. Jesus only had like 10 followers and he had a far bigger impact than people with millions of followers. It's the creation that social media has created, these gimmicky characters. The gimmicky characters that could not exist in a business place with core business values and a core business and a proper product if tomorrow Instagram was switched off for them. That's the gimmicky guys that Adi is referring to. And I'm calling them gimmicky, but I understand what Adi is saying. It's this whole new breed of this word called influencers.
And
Influencers are not performers. They're not comedians. They're not Brad Pitts. They're just something else, somewhere in between.
And I want to add to what you're saying. I'm not dissing anybody in what they do. I support everybody. My thing is I need to discern who I am impressed by. There's that word again. You know, I need to decide that if I see a movie, if like Netflix is on, right? And there's a Brad Pitt movie that is brand new, just came out, and there's a documentary about a guy that I've never heard of that is climbing mountains. Okay? I'm going to watch the documentary about the guy that's climbing the mountains because I want to see the grit. I want to see how he overcomes the snowstorm, at 10,000 feet or whatever it is. I want to see what he says about the fact that he got frostbite on his nose. I want to see him succeed despite the odds. Okay, and so I discern with my time and I go watch that. I'm impressed by that. That's where I want to spend my time. I want to be inspired. So that's what I'm saying is it's really about if you're at a party and there's two groups of people and the one guy is a cowboy and he's telling everybody about this app that he built and he's got the crowd, and the other guy is telling another story about grit, I'll go listen to the story of the guy with the grit. I'm not saying that I'm saying anything bad about the cowboy. It's just where I personally want to spend my time. And that's my prerogative is who do I see as impressive enough to spend my time on. And that's fine. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. So it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Your values needs to align with the person that you are looking up to. and that's when it
Adi,
all
can we
boils
please
down.
put that mic? Can we please put that microphone in front of you and send it over to Rosa? Drop us your pin, please.
Why? What's wrong with
We
this
need.
one now? Why don't you guys like my
Um,
microphone? Is it not coming?
there's also there's all sorts of crackling happening, but we hear you. It's like decoded messages in the Vietnam War. We hear
Now,
what
It's
we hear
weirdly
what you
enough,
say.
it's this app.
now
I don't know how to sort out this app.
I'll tell you something interesting. I went to a party, like probably 3 years ago, and it was like a business party or whatever, and there was a lot of like impressive people there. Okay. And I'm hanging around. It was during the time when I was growing the mullet. I don't know if you ever saw that, but I was growing a mullet at the time. And I'm at this party, and I saw like one guy standing there, and he didn't look as flashy as everybody else. He looked pretty much sort of grounded, probably the worst dressed guy there. Okay. And I thought, hey, this guy looks interesting. Like, I wonder what he's doing here. And I started chatting to him. And we actually had a fantastic conversation just about like life and stuff. And we had a great time. And that was like the guy that I basically spent the afternoon with. And we chatted. Very, very nice guy. It was only near the end of the party that I started to realize that everybody there worked for this guy.
Yeah,
It's
that
crazy.
happens. It happened with me in Dubai. You run into the most relaxed guy. He's actually the guy that's running the whole country. Meanwhile, all the other guys in the Laura Piana and Louis Vuittons and all of them are living off credit from this guy's financial systems. It's yeah. I've seen that. I have seen that.
How's
So
my
let's have
microphone
closing
now?
remarks, please. Reza, tell us.
Raz,
How's
tell
my
us, come.
microphone now?
I think we've had a
Good.
yeah. We can hear you. Will you next week jump on your phone? I think the phone maybe
The
streams
phone.
better onto directly the network if the Wi-Fi has a problem. Um, Look, guys. In essence, I guess our chat today. We haven't done these in a while. Maybe we're a little bit rusty. Um, it's about hard work, I guess. I guess it's about commitment to your ideologies more than following the trend. It's about the hard work of putting in the hours. It's about the amount of no's you will get at the beginning, in the middle, even at the top. Even me being in business for many, many years and creating what people would refer to as done well for myself, I still get plenty no's. Plenty. Especially by the guys that I try. You see, the funny thing in life, and I've noticed this in business, is guys that are always trying to go up. So when I was, let's say, level 1, trying to get meetings with the guys at level 2, they would say no to me. Then when I got to level 2 and tried to get to the guys at level 3, they said no to me till I got to level 3. Then the guys at level 2 and level 1 started saying yes to me. So like as you start going up, and I'm at a position where I'm looking at the big players, the big guys, and regardless of where you are, even if you're at level 10, there will always be another level. And those guys at the other level are always going to give you the no's, regardless of how committed you are to your destiny and what your dreams are. And the guys beneath you are always going to give you the yeses. But your goal in life is to keep going upwards and onwards. So, in essence, I get what Reza is saying of the popularity is not of importance as much as you believed it does, which goes in line with what I said of like and being liked by people, and as subjective as it is and as temporary it is because I've had people like me and then dislike me and then other way around dislike me and then like me, and it never really mattered throughout my time. And as Reza said, popularity doesn't really matter. And Adi said when he was younger, he was very highly focused on looking like Achilles, an aesthetic god. But as he got older, he started realizing that it's more about the actual health and his well-being more than just the presence of what it looks like. And it all essentially comes down to this grit, this word, this discernment, another word that Adi loves using, this grit of what it is that you're going after. And are you going to build the core foundations behind it and not just follow the next trend of being liked and popular in the now? And it's phenomenal how our whole conversation from point 3 went back to what Reza said at point 1 50 minutes ago of he realized that popularity doesn't matter. And what Adi then came and said is that he likes the guys that go and build the businesses that don't bring them popularity as much as the guys that are getting the popularity businesses that don't have the core values. And it's all about grit. It's all about getting the nose and going. And it's all about being as great of a salesman as you are. Some days you will get no's. Everybody, every single business person in the world, as great as they've been, as many books as they've read, as many lessons and things that they've studied, have all had moments which they thought was going to destroy them by getting a no. And it came down to the grit of carrying on and not giving up and taking the easy path and going with the popular approach and the being liked, because those are two things that don't really matter. And they're subjective. I keep saying subjective because they really are. And yeah, beautiful chat, guys. Beautiful guys. Rez, we're going to get you on your phone next guy.
So basically, as disjointed as we may sound, there was a common theme to this whole conversation. And
there was a very big common theme to this conversation and how it all actually linked in together. It actually built a spine as we were building layers. It built.
Yeah. There's one thing that I really want to add here, and this is very important, that, determination and, having a foundation and having a structure, all of that must also come with passion. Because if you're not passionate about what you want to do, then you won't have the drive and the willingness to go through the hurdles to actually make it happen. So let's not forget about that.
We heard you. We heard you throwing in the word passion. You were trying to throw in the word passion, and then Adi said something otherwise.
No, I like that.
I guess the passion comes with your desire. The passion comes with what you're waking up to run to the grit to. What are you running to the gridiron line for? That always sits with me, and it's something I realized many years ago when I started doing these things, and everybody's like, oh my God, Arash is trying to be a motivational speaker. I never tried to be a motivational speaker. I just tried to make videos based on my opinions, and hopefully people learn from them. And I said this before in one of my videos, if you guys go like 6 years back, and I said that without passion, it's like sitting in a taxi and the driver constantly asking you where you're going and you saying to him, I don't know. And you're going around in circles. As much as you're trying to get to your destination, there doesn't seem to be an end point of what it is that you're going towards and what is it that you're going onto the gridiron line for to run the race. That's the passion. That's the passion before even the grit. That's the passion before even the no's you get. That's the passion that I woke up today, I'm going to try again. I will get 1,000 no's and I will blood, sweat and tears. But the passion, I think that Rez, we all, I hope in our businesses are in a position where we know what our passion is. That passion is the one that gets you out of bed. That's the one even before you get to even starting the race. So
I like it. I got to bounce. My wife is out and my kids are destroying the house.
Beautiful. Okay. You go do that, Rez. We'll get you on the phone. Guys. And everybody.
Cheers, guys.
Hopefully we helped you a bit in life. Great.
Bye.